Hi. I haven't posted anything in a while. I've been kind of busy doing a lot of changes on sevenwildz that I want to get done, but I'm also I know Unreal Engine 5's in the works, and I feel like I'm running out of time. So rather than crunching a bunch of videos, I've just been working really hard on the game, and I've basically tuned out of social media and everything. So I'm sorry, but a little bit of what I've been doing is I did rework the characters entirely, and I made them a little less chibi. And there's a few reasons why I'm doing that, which is as I've been making stuff for the chibi character in the world and everything like that, there's things I just can't make with like equipment and stuff, and I really like shoulder pads on armor and stuff like that. And with the chibi character, you can't really do that stuff. And I'll probably do a game with the chibi character later. I still have all those meshes I've made and everything like that. But I'm trying this out and just seeing if I like having even more of a humanoid. But I've got them stylized a little bit. They got these cute little tiny feet, and kind of, now that I'm looking at it, have a Slender Man vibe, but it's not really what I was going for. Oh well. And I've got both genders, and that was the other thing with the chibi thing. I didn't want to really throw big boobs and stuff on a chibi because it just doesn't, to make it kind of a Wind Waker like game, I want it to be really cute and like not sexual at all. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with more humanoid stuff because I can make scarier monsters and stuff like that, and I've just been playing around with it and I like it. And I think when I'm closer to showing you guys everything that I've been working on, I think you'll like it too. But this is just a video for me so that I don't forget how to use Uefy when I'm adding new stuff to my character. But since everybody else is going to see this because I'm going to post it online, I figured I'd also just do a small update. So, this is an armature I created with Uefy, and Uefy 2.0. I'll post the video I watched in the like above the comments in the description, in case anybody else wants to use Uefy. It's awesome. With my little chibi character and everything like that, I used to just do regular Rigify on Blender 2.78, and that was what I used in Unreal Engine, and it just had so many extra bones. And as I was adding sockets to things and really building an inventory and equipment and stuff like that, I'm a little OCD and I want it to be really organized. And so with Uefy, it's nice because I never used animations from Unreal Engine or the Unreal Marketplace or anything like that. So with my Rigify character, the only downside was really all those extra bones. As far as animations go, I didn't really care that sharing animations and retargeting was a pain in the butt because I never used them, and I like animating. So I'll still be animating all of my stuff with these two characters, but now I can share animations as well. And the only reason I really wanted that is so that I could catch back up to where I was before with the little chibi character, but not be so rushed to like get the animations done. So now I could start working on things I was working on before while still you know, and more like working on animations and stuff when I feel like it, because sometimes I don't feel like it. And making these new characters kind of turned into a thing where I was gonna have to you know, crunch a bunch of stuff all at once to catch back up. And with Uefy 2.0, I'm now able to retarget really easily for the Unreal Engine animations, and so I did that. I used Uefy. These characters have a rig that matches the mannequin, which is nice, and I did have some issues between getting my male and female to both use the same rig. I actually had so many problems with it that I don't know why. I messed up with something when I was doing like some kind of part of the weight painting, but then I weight painted the male, and with Uefy you have to compare it to the mannequin skeleton that you import into Blender, and I think the mannequin skeleton I imported into Blender I did with different settings than the one I imported into Blender for my female, and my female was done all correctly and the male was the one having the problems. And so I think that I don't know, I played with it a whole bunch. I pretty much spent like 12 hours on it yesterday, and I was finally like, you know what, the female is working right, so maybe I'll just take her and add some of the male bits to her, which was really just changing the chest, and then I'll just do that and see how that goes. So I did that. Then I was having a lot of problems with the weight painting. Something happened with the Uefy buttons too, where I was doing it with my male character, where it named everything correctly, all my bones, but then for some reason on the right hand it put L's, and on the left hand it put the lowercase r's for the left and right bones. So when I would generate the rig, you had all those like parental lines going opposite, and then when I'd pose the rig with Uefy 2.0, he'd get all crazy, and then I went through and renamed them. I even did the script and stuff like that, and I don't know what happened. I made both original rigs from scratch. I made both of these rigs from scratch while watching a different video from the same guy that does Uefy. And then he said I didn't need to do that in one of my comments, and that if I have Uefy 2.0, which I have, then it gives me a rig and I just have to place it. But for me it was like, kind of too late. I worked on making this rig, so I kept it, and for some reason the version I made with my female worked, and the version I made with my male didn't work. Anyways, you don't need to. I'll just be quiet about that. So now it works. I've got these little characters, male and female, and they're posable and all that. So that's nice. I'm really happy about that. I'm hoping. I've just been playing with some like poses and stuff to see if they are gonna look the way I want before I make a bunch of hairstyles and stuff for them. I think they're fun. I think their hips are kind of weird. Maybe I should go fix those. So that's what this video is for. I'm gonna be tweaking it and making the video so I can remind myself how I did it. Get her booty out there. Yeah, get this booty out there. How do I? I don't know. Maybe they'll look okay. I might change it again. Now that I have the skeleton, I can re-rig it really easy. And that's what I'm going to look at today. So, basically when I was doing it, I had my little male character that I made, and instead of going into the armature and then selecting the rig and doing the weight paint, in the armature in Uefy you have I don't think I have my mouse turned off. I always do this to myself. Well, I'm not going to stop the recording to show you my mouse. I'm sorry. I've come too far. If you can see on the right side of the screen, I'm highlighting these buttons, pose position and rest position over here. And then the Uefy 2.0 mesh down below is the layers, and this bottom, on the right side of the layers, the bottom left square is the bones that you do weight painting for. So I grab my armature, I grab my mesh, and then I can right click and do weight painting and stuff. You go into this little circle down here and you can turn wireframe on, which I think you should always have on anyway. I'm just kidding, but it helps with weight painting. And then I gave full weight painting to the head, pretty much highlighted around the neck, and the rest is honestly just automatic weights for the most part. So I'll probably end up having to go back in here and fine-tune everything as time goes. But I'm just trying to get something into the engine so I don't have to use the mannequin, and so when I do screenshots and stuff, it's all mine. Because I don't like having stock assets in there when I'm doing screenshots for the official game and stuff like that. So when I was trying to get my mesh in there, and I had my other mesh that was a male that I had actually modeled that way, for some reason when I'd get it attached to that rig, the armature right here, its joints, like the actual mesh would be weight painted what looked like correctly, but then the wrists would be squozen in really tight, and like it looked like he had little rubber bands around all his joints and was all tied up. So I'd look in, and it was because like something weird with vertex groups. So I went into the male, and I'm gonna show you right now. Let's go to the armature, and why do I always have a problem with this? I want to extract all meshes, but I don't. Extract mesh, there. That's another UFI thing, which is actually pretty useful. So we'll just, so the female has these vertex groups right here, and they're all great. She's weight painted pretty well, and I'll just grab her and then the rig, and then I'll do armature deform to put her just back on there with the weights that she already has. And then if I want to double check, I'll just hide that male one, highlight her again, go into object mode, not texture paint, weight paint, and all of her weights, yep, are on there. The ones that I've changed a bit, and then a lot of the automatic ones, they all look fine. So it didn't change any of her weight paints to pull her off and put her back on, which was important because I hate weight painting. It's my least favorite thing ever. I think a lot of people feel the same. If you like weight painting, okay. It is satisfying, I guess, when you get it right. But just so much trial and error with it for me that I don't like it. So where I was having a problem is when I used to put this male back on it. Yeah, his little wrists would get all like, if I just show you, they'd be like this, and then his whole hand would be like, I don't know. It was funky. It was real funky. It would be all twisted, like, but all the way like 360, and then it'd be tight back like that. Like it would look. It was weird. I don't know why it was like that. So yeah, what ended up happening was I went into him in object mode, and I went to these groups, and I just went down to this drop down arrow, and I deleted all groups. And then what I ended up doing was I kept trying to delete all vertex groups here, and then select the armature, like select him first and then select the armature, and then do Control P and do automatic weights that way. And then once I get into the armature, I was turning on the bones, you know, I'll just do just the bones, and I was then trying to select the armature and then the character and then do weight paint. And then that's when I come in here and I have all those weight painting problems still, even after deleting the vertex groups and everything like that. So what I ended up doing is I just hid the armature like altogether, and I took the mesh I was trying to get to work with the UFI armature I'd made, and I brought it back to my original armature that I had created, this one called Character. And this is the one that I made from scratch, you know, just by adding the bones and everything like that. And then I followed the steps in the UFI videos to get it so that the bone names and axes matched. So I have the bone names and everything that match the Unreal Engine 4 mannequin skeleton on this rig that I made from scratch. And then I took my mesh, I brought it back here, I took the rig, and I just reparented it to that with automatic weights, which gave it vertex groups back. So then I didn't have any problems with the wrists and everything like that, and I was able to highlight them both and go back in here, and it worked. And that's exactly what it did. And then when I was done I weight painted it on my original armature. So mix. I don't really need to show you weight painting, but yeah, I went through and weight painted it on the original armature. I don't really do live streams or talk while I work. I usually just have music on, and so doing this video and trying to do this is pretty hard. Kudos to all the people out there who stream and do this. It's really impressive. I like to work in silence with music on and then just post my speed art videos, and that's why I mostly just do speed art videos. And if I do my update videos, those monthly ones that I've been so horrible at lately, then I do talk while I show people those, but I'm not like actively trying to create something. So, but anyways, so I'd weight paint him on here, and then I would bring it back to object mode when I was done, and go back to the little rig settings over here, and I went back to extract the mesh. Bing. After weight painting it on the original armature, and then once I extracted the mesh back, I would move it back to my collection that had the this second collection, by the way, is just the Unreal Mannequin. That's all that's hiding right there. Just if anybody's curious. I bring my mesh back to the actual rig I wanted it on, and then I'll hide the female. I did the typical thing. I clicked the mesh I wanted to parent to it first, then I clicked the armature. Again, those bones are there because of this group I'm showing, this layer I'm showing, and these are the bones that matter anyways, because they're the ones I'm going to have to weight paint. So I clicked that, and then I'd Control P. I wouldn't do automatic weights anymore, because every time I did that, I would just mess it up if I went back to the Rigify version. So I do Armature Deform, and then if I select the armature first, and then the armature first, and then the mesh, and I did weight paint again, now it would keep the weight painting I'd done. See, I only did half the neck this time. So, quick recap, just because I'm going to end up doing this a bunch, especially as I think when I make equipment, this is going to be my workflow, is I'll model it, I'll have a master file that will just be the static mesh like this, and then in that master file I'll make all my gear attached to that mesh or the female mesh, and then I'll probably append it into this Blender file, so it'll be in the same spot on the mesh, but I won't have all these confusing collections, and it won't be messy over here. But that way I could add it to this original armature, weight paint it, detach it, move it down to the collections layer, and then make the parent this armature again, and hopefully it'll be correctly weight painted, and then I'll just export it from here, and I'll probably save a file version of this as the item. Anyways, my workflow is weird, but basically in my folders for items, I usually have like I have a folder that says like chair 01, and then you open that folder and it'll say blend files, meshes, GIMP files, textures. So if I want to work on the actual origin of that mesh, I'll open the blend files folder and I'll have my blend files, and usually it's just one, and then I can click that, work on the chair, export it into the mesh folder, and if I'm working on textures, I'll go into the GIMP folder, open that file, work on it, export the texture into the textures folder, and then it's all organized and I know exactly where all my items and stuff are. And then when I'm working on Unreal Engine, if I have a problem with something, I know exactly where to go to fix it. I know that I'm not going to overwrite it on accident, because I've done that plenty of times. The problem is that it created a ton of folders before, and now I've changed it a little bit more, but anyways, so recap. You highlight the object that's attached to the rig, extract mesh. If I'm working on one of these characters, I'd move it to the collection that has the OG mesh, or the OG rig. Gosh, my vocabulary today. And then I would, if I'm working on one of the characters I already have, and I'm having problems with it, I can delete these weight paints, or these vertex groups, by clicking this little arrow here. Delete all groups. Right there. Bing. Then I would select the mesh first, and then the OG rig, Control P with automatic weights. Select the rig first, then the character, and then do weight paint. And then I can select the bones and see that the weight painting is how I want. I'll just do this so I can prove that it worked. And then I would click back to the character that's on the mesh, the mesh that's on the rig. Gosh. Extract mesh from the rig, the OG rig, move it back to the collection 3, and then that's where I would select it and move it to the official rig, and Control P, and this time do it with Armature Deform, and that way when I select the official rig and then the mesh I was trying to alter and do weight paint, it will have kept my weights. Okay, that's the end of this video. I've ranted too long, and luckily this was a test file that I made extra. Yeah. Bye-bye. That's how I'm gonna do it. If I actually get some items made and I start testing around with it, I'll make another video just to remind myself how I got those back into the engine. The other thing with if I'm exporting it, it's all on that video I showed down in my description below, but I would select the character that I want to export in object mode, then the armature, then export FBX wherever I want it to go, with selected objects only, geometry, face, armature, only deform bones, no leaf bones, no animations. And then that's how I would get original skeleton out of it, or just a mesh if I'm using a skeleton that's already in Unreal Engine 4, which now that I have this, I have a skeleton that's already in Unreal Engine 4, so everything from here would still be exported like this, and when I import it into Unreal Engine 4, I would just select the skeleton that I'm using, which is called SK player character underscore sevenwildz. SK underscore player character underscore sevenwildz. And that will be all my humanoids. We'll go to that rig. So, you guys have a good day. This is more of a reminder for me than any of you, but if you watched, I hope it was entertaining somehow for you. Bye-bye.